labels, they don't feel no type of way necessarily about it, but they're not just handing out free cash, okay? I made the distinction to you guys before about when a label signs a new artist that's successful, they're making a 20x, 30x multiple off of their investment. If they give Drake $400 million, or let's say they give him $600 million,
that got his face.
For them to make a 10x multiple, Drake would have to generate for that contract, which is probably going to be 3 or 4 or 5 albums, probably 3 or 4 albums, $4 billion. Like, just to put that in perspective, that's not a good investment. Universal Music Group reported that Spotify paid them for 2023 for every artist they have. Weeknd, Taylor Swift, Drake, Post Malone, Kendrick, everybody for the year, $2.3 billion. So what I'm trying to say is that whatever investment they're doing with Drake, I know Drake's the biggest rap artist, but it's not incentivized to think that you're going to get that much of a return in terms of 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 10x. They're not 10xing an investment on Drake. So it means you're going to give this guy like $600 million and he's not going to 10x it. He's probably not going to 5x it. Maybe 2x it. Now, again, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, but it does matter because these companies are not publicly traded in the bottom line. So, Drake filed his lawsuit, and again, I do think he could fold. The folding would be whatever they're offering him, which is probably what he don't want, but he got to get down and lay down. Now, I do have some problems with this, and going back to what I said, he's having this Taylor Swift moment. Let me explain that. This is very important. Taylor Swift is the only individual, and we're talking post Michael Jackson, who has gone against the label and successfully won and stayed at the label. And the label was still incentivized to push them. Let me give you 2 examples. And these are not musical examples, but here's the thing. When you have a fixed, and I almost want to call it, it's like damn near monopolistic in a sense. I don't know if you guys follow a lot of whether it's legal stuff or you guys follow business stuff. Let me bring in an example. Right now, there's a federal lawsuit. You will see it's been floating around, I believe, U.S. I think it's in the Southern District or maybe Eastern. Live Nation federal lawsuit. Okay. Now, the Department of Justice, they're actually suing Live Nation, saying you guys are monopoly. Okay, you're violating an antitrust a law that was created, and it's basically saying that it suffocates the competition because it controls everything. Let me explain what that is, right? So monopolistic entities, and I mean, there's times that, like, say, Amazon has faced that. Just listen to me here a second. You'll get it. I'm gonna tell you why this is important. When a company controls, because we believe in capitalism, no company should have that much control that there can't be new competitors, and basically they're printing free cash. How does Live Nation do that? Live Nation owns Ticketmaster, which is, hey, if you want to go to a concert, you have to buy tickets. They own the ticketing company. Live Nation controls 80% of the big venues. So if I'm the company that's the touring company, I own the ticketing system, I own the venues, I also own the festivals, and I basically own everything that's around the live musical experience. Am I not? How could you ever beat me? Because now when you say, hey, I want to start up a touring company. Okay, that's cool. You're going against Live Nation. Once I think you're about to level up, by the way, they've been doing this to AG touring, who did stuff with Moneybagg Yo, who did stuff with Rod Wave, Lil Baby, and even Sexy Red. Here's the thing, and I know I'm getting deep into the woods here. I told you a story about.
See, Act is a smart person, right? And this is why I give Akademiks his credit to some. To a certain level, because I know exactly what he's doing, right? So I can see through the bullshit when he's purposely just trying to run with a narrative. So that's why I'm just here just to balance out his bullshit. Like, Akademiks is actually a smart person. I will give him that. But I can tell when he's full of shit. I can tell when he's full of shit. And I'm just here just to, point out those full of shit moments. But,
Baby. They told Lil Baby, yo, we'll give you, I think, what was the number? I think it was like $500,000 or $600,000 per show. Take it or leave it. Now, I'm trying to show you what a conglomerate, monopolistic entity, and this is why, it's banned. You can't just be a monopoly. You have to allow competition because capitalism is supposed to encourage competition to get the best prices, right? Especially for the consumer. Lil Baby gets offered $500,000, $600,000 by Live Nation. They said, that's all we can pay you. You'll do all arenas. Let's go on tour. An independent company comes around and says, hey, baby, we could pay you $900,000, $300,000 per date more than the other company. Just go with us. We could get these same venues. We're going to book them and whatever. We're going to deal with all the costs. It's good. In reality, Live Nation could pay Lil Baby $900,000. But because the way how they control the market, Baby don't got no fucking options. So then you get AG and AT actually, how they try to compete against Live Nation, then it turns to some other shit, right? It turns to, okay, well, if I'm Live Nation, I'm gonna make sure y'all can't get some of my venues. Because these venues, they book shit out, and if Live Nation's not using them, they will book to other people. But now you realize somebody's trying to undercut you. You own the venue shit. And then think about this: are you gonna make sure Lil Baby, who didn't do a deal with the company that owns the ticketing company, Ticketmaster, you gonna make sure his shit get promoted on Ticketmaster or not? Hell no, you can't. It's gonna be shadow banned, or it's hard to find them tickets. You know what I'm saying? So it's a monopoly, and that's explicitly banned. Okay, let me bring this back to the music business, and bring this back to essentially like the whole thing with like Drake and what he got going on, right? So Universal Music Group kind of is the same thing. Not as much as Live Nation, but it's the same thing. Universal Music Group owns part of Spotify. They have deals and heavy laden incentives with every company that they need to win. So basically, it turns into a situation where Universal Music Group could just print money. If we could influence Spotify to prioritize our artists over an independent artist, how could an independent artist ever compete with UMG? We're giving them billions of dollars to license our catalog. Also, we gave them a discount, but it meant we own part of their company, and also we have certain type of control. They would never say some random Joe Schmo that never did a deal with anyone is going to get Spotify blanketed approval. No, we own part of Spotify. What the fuck? That person that you're going to give blanket all the playlists with got to be someone who works or someone who signed to UMG. That's how business is being done at the big level. Okay. And I'm sorry for going to these little tangents, but I got to say this for you guys to understand. Okay? So, when it now comes to Drake, as I said, he's having his Taylor Swift moment. Taylor Swift is the only person that has made UMG get to one knee for her. Or basically say, we were doing this, but now that you said this or you feel this type of way, we'll go this way. I'm going to give you examples how she did that. Taylor Swift's biggest fight in her career is that she felt that she was robbed of her masters. Universal, and there's a whole documentary about this, when they were trying to get Taylor Swift into a multi-album agreement, they promised Taylor Swift, we'll get your masters by hook or by crook. We'll get it from Scooter Braun or whoever. We're going to give it back to you. That's not how they usually operate. Taylor Swift, what she did was that she wrote letters. Look, Taylor Swift, Big Machine, like she would write these like letters or whatever. Like she wrote on her Tumblr, like, and her fans would fuck with it. Like Taylor Swift literally said, hey, what I'm going to have to do to get around this, I'm going to have to drop my old albums again. And her fans was like, Taylor, we love you. We don't care. Drop it again. Taylor dropped her albums twice, and the second time she dropped it, outsold the first time, even though some of those albums were 10 years old. Why? Her fans love Taylor. Why am I bringing this up? Let's bring it back to Drake. I said Drake is having his Taylor Swift moment. And what I mean by Taylor Swift moment, I'm not saying it's going to be successful. Because Taylor Swift fans rode with Taylor Swift. They made the label say, Taylor, you're right, and we can't go against you and so many people who love your music. We're going to make things right with you, even if we take a loss. When Taylor said, yo, UMG, I need y'all to work out y'all deal with TikTok, based on how big Taylor was, UMG got back in the negotiation room and worked it out. Drake is trying to have the same thing. I don't know if it's going to work because I'm going to tell you why.
Hell no.
Number one, Drake's audience is not as big as Taylor Swift.
Hell no.
Number two, Drake is not as transparent with his career as Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift used to write that she was victimized. Look, Taylor Swift, stolen. Like she would write like, yo, these guys, if they're taking advantage of me. Like she would literally break it down on how the obviously she was getting that Big Machine a lot, which is owned by Scooter Braun. But she would break it down that her fans would be like, no, we love you, Taylor. And this is why it goes back to what I was saying about messaging. Drake just dropped a random petition that's going to lead to a lawsuit. His fans don't even know what's going on. They're like, what's going on? A regular fan doesn't know the business side of this. Like, you're going to listen to Drake or whoever say, oh no, you're going to get Party Next Door's album when it's ready. That's just probably done. The business is holding up that album. I guarantee it. I'll put 20,000 on it. That album is done, but it's the Universal bullshit that's holding up the album. Drake isn't that transparent. And that is the thing. Because Taylor Swift is going to tell y'all, hey, when I was young, I signed this deal. I thought I was going to get my this, da-da-da. They robbed me, blah, blah. And her fans rock with her. So that goes into one of the criticisms I have about Drake. We don't know what the fuck you're intending with this. If you're going for a fight, because he looks like he's angling it, just by the lawsuits. Looks like you're angling a fight against the labels. But you got to be very honest. Drake has, I think, the best ever audience in terms of hip-hop. People have lived. I've lived, some people think, listen, obviously I'm glad Drake's the biggest artist and he's my favorite artist, but I grew up 15 years of my life listening to this nigga's music. 15 years of my life, every song, cataloging, and it was basically being a soundtrack of what I was going through. Like, I'm connected to the music. That's another thing when people mention Kendrick. Kendrick just rapping a bunch of bullshit to me. He's a great rapper, but his music doesn't connect to my life. I started listening to Drake when I was in college. I'm in my
mid-30s. There you go. He just got his shit on Kendrick somehow, some way.
And there's a lot of people like me.
He just got to talk shit about Kendrick.
His music is just
somehow,
like I know people who
way.
Jay-Z, they feel the same. Here's the problem, though. Right. I don't think Drake is as communicative about that type of stuff, right? So let me explain the Taylor Swift moment, and that's what I'm gonna explain how Drake is having his. In every situation that Taylor was disgruntled, she was vocal with her fans. She let her fans know what was going on. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to drop my 5 or 6 old albums again because I was robbed and I was taken advantage of. And her fans believed it and they supported everything she did. With Drake, we've been kept out of the blue. And also it's a hip hop thing because rappers usually only brag to you. This is why it's hard to feel bad for rappers. All they do is brag about what they've got and they don't appeal to the side that you can relate to. You don't see Taylor Swift saying, I'm flying on a jumbo jet with the biggest cars ever and I've spent $40 million buying this person's jewelry. Like, you don't hear that. Taylor Swift just looks like some country girl. But she got more money than everybody. So she appeals to her fans, and her fans be like, well, if Taylor feels like she's getting taken advantage of, we're getting taken advantage of. We love her. Drake doesn't do that. But I do think he's having his Taylor moment because that moment is going to require not only lawsuits. If he's going to go at UMG, he's going to need for his fan base, his audience, to rally around him. Because here's the reason why, and I'm going to give a bigger story. The current music industry is based on Drake and what he did. And I have one critique. I have another critique I levy against Drake. For as great as we do think, and I do think Drake's a good businessman, I never thought Drake took the chances he needed to prepare for moments like this. I'll explain. Brother, let's get back to 2015, 2016. Y'all remember when Drake sold $1 million first week? Y'all remember views? Y'all remember slightly before that? If you're reading this, it's too late. Y'all remember going into More Life? Y'all remember, obviously then we get to Scorpion. Let me tell you one thing that Drake did that if Drake foresaw today ever happening, those conversations would have went differently. I'm gonna tell you why. When Drake sat and took a $20 million deal from Apple Music to release his album 1 week before, he rapped about it. I forgot what song. I think, was it Charged Up? Drake, 20 million, Apple Music. He rapped about something, right? And I think it came with the 1 week exclusive that he did a radio show, whatever it was, right? Yeah, Apple Music pays Drake $20 million for the new album. Now, what we're going to have to realize, and this is as great, listen, it's my favorite rapper. But I understand why I'm also the biggest and the best when it comes to this media shit, because I'm going to have to give it up how I got to give it up. Here's the reality of it, right? So it says, so a report from Hits Daily Double back in the day said that Apple Music gave Drake $20 million to create views and give it to them for a week, right? A week. Now, it was exclusive to them. Let me explain how that was short-sighted, and that probably helped put Drake in the position he was. Remember I told you why recently I said, I'm not interested no more too much in deals, because I've seen how all this shit goes. When these labels are offering you a big bag, it's because they're getting a big return. I'll give you 2 examples. I'll even give you the example I'm a part of. Partly, I understand why Joe Budden was wilding out at Spotify, but that's not the way to go if you ask me. You got negotiated in there. When he was like, they gave me, who knows, whatever money they gave him, Spotify initially. But he felt like he was underpaid and they wouldn't pay him what they needed to for this subsequent contract that he probably requested or they were negotiating. I don't know if they did. I knew it when it came to even me with Spotify, right? By the way, everything also it bores true later. I always said that my biggest success with Spotify, I took my first year's paycheck, I threw it all into Spotify stock. I took what they paid me, I bought all Spotify stock. The stock at the time was like 200 something. During the pandemic, it fell to like 110, 115. That stock now is worth $450. So if you think about it, if I say they paid me $1 million, right? Let's say they paid me that. If I put $1 million in and I never sold, which I did sell, that $1 million 3 years ago, if I waited 4 years after till now, would be worth $4 million. So it's like they paid me $4 million. So whatever you think they paid me the first year, times it by 4, right? That's would have been the real gain of this. I'm gonna tell you why I'm telling you that information. Because what Drake is now doing, I think is gonna be a little bit, it's gonna fall slightly short and he's gonna maybe try to do what a lot of people do in terms of, hey, I helped build this. Because here's the thing, when Drake got $20 million from Apple Music and Spotify were in a war to the death on who could gain more subscribers to their streaming platform for music. They were doing anything. And they realized the quickest way to get more people to subscribe to Apple Music, which was $10 a month, was to show that certain artists, especially the biggest artists, were only going to drop their music on their platform. And maybe not for the whole time, but exclusively. So I'm pretty sure when Drake took that $20 million, he said, damn, it's $20 million. This is free cash. It's perfect. But what that did is, when they did those deals with Drake in the weekend, that set up the entire industry. Just give me 1 second. I just want to Google this and show you. So this was views, right? So views was 2016, right? 2016. Let's look at this. Apple Music subscribers, 2016. I just want to show you something. So in 2016, right? In 2016, they touted that, I want to show you this, right? Them and Apple, they were trying to compete with Apple, right? Not Apple, I mean, on Spotify. In 2016, you're going to see that they basically said they had around like 20 to 30 million. I know it says December, but they never put out the real numbers. It was basically between 20 to 30 million paying subscribers, right? They were gaining ground on Spotify by paying people like Drake 20 million. Spotify said it had 40 million. So let's just say Spotify had 40, Apple Music had 30. Let me show you something now. Spotify paying subscribers 2023, because Drake even points to that in the contract. Well, really, it's actually way more than this, but whatever. Okay, 236 million. Now, this is a very important part, and this is what I was trying to say. A lot of what Drake is saying now, it would be contextually defined differently if back then, when Drake got the 20 million, he said, nah, I don't want the 20 million. Since y'all are using me to build, remember, at this time, Spotify has 40 million. So 40 times 4 would be 160, 40 times 5 will be 200, 40 times 6. So they've increased 6x in paying subs, right? Spotify. I know we did deal with Apple, but we're looking at the market. The best thing for Drake to do, remember I told you about the Spotify thing? What they were offering me and how the stock price increased 4x? If Drake had somehow, with the most leverage ever, they needed Drake. They needed Weeknd. They needed these people. If Drake had sat down, brought in UMG, brought in Spotify or Apple and said, hey, listen, we don't have to get down with this. We could just use our leverage with our record labels and say, we're going to drop music in a different way. Since you guys are trying to build streaming, and yes, I'm saying this unequivocally, and this is why I personally feel Drake feels away. Drake built the entire industry of streaming for these bigger conglomerates. Here's the problem. All he did was take the money, and he never took the thing that could possibly have you with some control. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even if Drake says, hey, listen, fuck the money. Just give me. All right,
basically, he took the fast money instead of the long money. All right, this long ass fucking shit. He took the fast money instead of the long money. God damn it.
Obviously, Apple wouldn't give a shit because, Apple Music's not gonna. But maybe Spotify like, hey, listen, just give me a percentage. Right. Just like how you negotiate with UMG. Well, I'm actually about a fourth of what UMG's bringing in. I'll do a deal with you directly. But I want some piece and some parts of what's going on here. And that's the problem. I'm really telling you that's the problem. So Drake got the jumbo jet. He got the $100 million match. He got all the money. But that only matters as long as he's the number one artist that could move the needle. Right. The moment they think you can't move the needle, you don't matter no more. This is why you should have incentivized when you could move the needle to get some real skin in the game. And it's not money. It's power and control. The point is, Drake, while he's gotten, I believe the only artist that's gotten $1 billion off music, didn't utilize his spot in building streaming, in building all these things that he was, by far number one. He didn't utilize that to have the control that later on, which he was eventually going to get to a point where they say, maybe we don't need him as much as we used to. But if you had some power and control, you'd be like, hold on, nigga. Hold on. This is what, it's exactly the Michael Jackson Sony play. Drake never did it. Drake took all the cash. He got jumbo jets, buys up everybody's jewelry, fucks every hoe, fucks every nigga bitch, has money just coming out the ass, which is good. We all want money. But what happens is sometimes the industry, and let's go back to Diageo with Diddy before all this happened. Let's go back to, even though that was a much more amicable situation, Bacardi with Jay-Z. It's okay. These companies are cool with paying you $1 billion. But when they think that you can't help their bottom line or you're not the pendulum switcher no more, they tell you, all right, kick rocks with your $1 billion. You get what I'm saying? So when Drake is filing a lawsuit now, and I'm saying he's having his Taylor Swift moment, you know why all these companies bow to Taylor? They know if Taylor says right now, I promise you, if Taylor says right now, I feel like Universal is robbing me, this stream is, yo, she had them reevaluate the price of a stream. You know she did that, right? Taylor Swift streaming payout. She made that a thing. Hold on. She disagreed with it, and then basically, well, she's going crazy now with it, but okay. Hold on. You're gonna see a bunch of Drake stuff, but look, here's the thing, and this is what I'm saying, the Taylor Swift moment. Taylor, in her time at the top, where the labels know you can't piss this woman off, you can't say fuck her. She used her power. You could call it Karen all you want. She used it then. Hey, I don't like this. This looks like it's taking advantage of us. Change it now. And the label know what fight they can fight.
Man, fuck out of here. He wouldn't be saying this if he would have won. Man, fuck all this shit. Skip. Suck my dick. And fuck all this shit. And get to the goddamn shit, man. I want to hear this long ass goddamn drawn out shit. Make a better song. How about that? If all else fails, start winning. Winning takes care of everything.
Like 75 because they're spending the money. Spotify's not. So here's the point. So we're saying $1 billion from Apple No,
man, shut up. I'm skipping this shit. I'm skipping.
Give me the money. Show me the money. Now, the conversation that I had, it was like, hey, listen, if you think we would intentionally sabotage Drake to build another artist, no one, that's crazy. But let's say sabotage Drake for the purposes of some not trying to give him whatever he wants. Let's explain how UMG works, okay? And his allegations of executives are going to receive incentive bonuses is true, which means if you have an artist that artist performs well that year, the executives are going to get bonuses. That's how their salaries work. So they tell me, they say, this actually disproves what Drake is trying to make as his point. Because here's the reality, and let's break down UMG. Y'all ready? This way everybody get their pen out, and by the way, all the other YouTubers who basically have no idea how this thing works, just copy me or whatever. Y'all can get your pen out too. So UMG, let's go Universal Music Group. Universal Music Group org chart. Let's look at the org chart. This will be can we find it? Okay, well, it shows Lucian at the top, but we really want the labels. Okay, perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. All right, so you see Big Sir Lucian at the top, okay? So this is gonna be the guy. Lucian Grainge, he's at the top, right? So you see corporate management and then major business unit and territory leadership. Okay, you're gonna see a bunch of other people who fall beneath Lucian here, and you're gonna see the vice president, controller, or chairman and CEO of UMG Pub. So there's Universal Music Publishing Group, or UMPG actually. You're gonna see general counsel, so that's all their lawyers. So anytime you see UMG, this is person they're an executive. They handle business affairs. They're gonna make sure that y'all don't get no money from this company, right? The vice president right here. Hold on, I gotta make sure it's my mouse. The vice president right here is the chief people and inclusion officer, which maybe that's some new shit, but okay. EVP. So this is the executive vice president of UMG. Okay, bet.
Man, I don't give a fuck about this.
There's a bunch of people.
Come on, get to it.
Capital. Okay.
I don't want to see all this shit. All right, let's keep it on this shit, man.
Okay, so these are like Kane and AG, or this, like, because
you're getting too goddamn technical now, man. Fuck him, fuck them. All right, goddamn shit. I'm gonna sit through all this goddamn shit. Get to the goddamn meeting.
I mean, that's crap, man. Drake must have had bots at some point. Oh hell no. Drake is saying his team directly ain't never bought nothing.
Yeah, you shit. What the? Do they know that you talking about all this? I mean, it's a lot. I ain't trying to digest all this shit. I'm not about to, I'm just making content. I ain't trying to dissect the whole damn industry. Like, I'm gonna let you do that. I'm gonna let you, you gotta deal with all this stuff. I ain't trying to learn all this shit. All right, goddamn, nigga. Get to the goddamn tweets. Yeah, what did Kendrick say? Shit, god damn.
Right, of Payola, or that they were paid blogs. You have a bigger business than what Drake has going on. But this is interesting. Drake filed these lawsuits. It's kind of hanging his hat on.
I ain't got time for this shit.
That's what Drake is saying. Now, granted, let me make the distinction, because some
people got PowerPoints and shit.
At some point, oh hell no. Drake is saying his team directly ain't never bought nothing, ain't never paid no radio promotions. Now, I will also be fair, and this is not Dick Ryder standing.
He got PowerPoint presentations. He got pointers, graphs, and charts. Man, I ain't got time. I graduated college a long time ago. I ain't trying to go back to school. I'm good.
I know a lot of people within digital marketing. I know a lot of people within radio promotion. I know a lot of people within Drake. Again, maybe he's been paid for it at a higher level, but Drake's music has never been the thing that people have said, yo, we collected $500,000 for Drake's campaign.
Hey, get to the shit.